This morning, we're discussing a celebrity relationship drama that has completely taken over social media and keeps getting messier by the day. It all started after veteran broadcaster and former Who Wants to Be a Millionaire host, Frank Edoho, confirmed that he has been separated from his wife for almost 2 years. Immediately after the announcement, many social media users connected the separation to Frank's old viral interview, where he described himself as the king of malice and admitted that he punishes his wife with silence and emotional withdrawal whenever they have issues. But before his wife reacted publicly, an alleged leaked audio and conversation involving singer Chike and his wife surfaced online, fueling rumors that there was an affair between both of them. The alleged leak immediately threw social media into chaos, with many people blaming infidelity for the crashed marriage. Then came Sandra's explosive response. Sandra is Frank Edoho's estranged wife. In several emotional posts, she accused Frank of cheating during their marriage and said staying silent would make people believe he was a victim in the situation. Since then, Nigerians online have been divided, with some defending Frank, others supporting Sandra, and many dragging Chike into a controversy he has not fully addressed publicly. And with leaked chats, old interviews resurfacing, and social media users acting like relationship judges. Whew. So, our thoughts now on this latest celebrity alleged extramarital affair scandal has completely engulfed social media space. I would like to know your thoughts on that. And for our viewers as well, I'd like you to join the conversation on 0201-635-2013 or 0902-416-3440, or Twitter us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. Remember, you can watch us live on DSTV 164, and we're streaming live on YouTube. Ladies, so here we are again, you know, discussing another celebrity relationship, or the falling apart of another celebrity relationship. We sort of took the story. We didn't have this extra one yesterday. Yesterday we talked about just communication within marriages, and this was because there was the videos were coming out, old videos of Frank Edoho having conversations like TV interviews, and he was talking about malice, keeping malice when issues happen in the marriage. And now we're hearing that there's infidelity, we're hearing about audio leaks, the wife is responding. You know, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this situation? Nobody wants to go?
I think it's worrying. It's really worrying and saddening and very scary that an institution as sacred, or that's supposed to be sacred by virtue of the fact that the institutor of marriage is our Heavenly Father, our Creator. But looking at the way that the essence, the sanctity of marriage has been continues to be watered down by those involved in the institution, by onlookers, it's really abysmal and very scary. First off, I would say that times have changed, and I strongly believe that as times continue to change, our views, our perspectives, and even our treatment of marriage and what it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to be run and how it's supposed to be managed when things don't go according to plan have just evolved over the years. And so it really broke my heart to see that all of this is our people's lives that we're talking about. These are people's well-being, emotional, mental, spiritual, that we're talking about. But now it has turned into comedial fanfare for everyone, such that everyone is pitching tents and taking sides and making a mockery and a caricature of this institution. I feel like we should do better, because my fear is that we're continuously losing our humanity. You know, when things like this happen and people show who they are at heart. Okay. I honestly and strongly feel like that we're losing everything that makes us human. And as we continue to peel away at the layers of humanity and continue to lose every vestige of humanity, what will be left at some point in time, especially for generations to come? this idea that because somebody has been doing something for a while and seemingly has been getting away with it, I can also toe the same path. Whether it's wrong or right, I can just say, oh, you've been doing this for the longest time. I have come of age. I know better now. I will do the same thing that you've been doing so that you see how it feels. Whether it is wrong or right, it doesn't sit right with me. And I say this because it's all good and fine. Let's just take, for instance, that allegedly, maybe Oga Frank Edoho has been cheating on his estranged wife.
She alleged
right?
that.
Yes, she alleged that. So let us say allegedly this is true, right? So if this is true, you know that Oga Frank can come out and say, there's a reason. He can come out and try to justify why he cheated. He can say, oh, my wife was not giving me. He can say, oh, she now had money and she felt she was above me. She no longer showed respect for me as the head of... You know, he can make all kinds of justifications for his cheating. Because now, if we're saying that his estranged wife is saying, oh, I chose to do what I did because you have been doing this, it now looks like everybody is doing what is right or wrong and justifying it because, oh, you did this first. Oh, you did this. What happens to doing the right thing in spite of what has been done to you? If somebody, for instance, hurts me so bad, maybe steals from me, do I now become a thief? Stealing is something that in no way ascribes to who I am as a person or my values, and I will live and die on the heel of my values. That's just me. But I'm now seeing that people were losing that.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, you know, so now it's a case of you do me, I go check you say I go
I remember someone
and nothing
said,
go happen. You go see as if they paint for body.
I remember someone said to me one time that, you know, she tries as much as possible to maintain who she is, so that what people do to her or, you know, or say to her does not affect who she is because she wants to respond to it or she wants to pay back. So she doesn't do that. What is most important that she maintains who she is. She does not change because of them.
Okay, so, yeah, you know, we talked about it yesterday.
Thoughts?
Yeah, so, but, you know, when I saw this saw the new message, I went back. I was looking for the gist on the honest bunch that he went for. But I didn't find it because I wanted to understand why she had to reply, because all that we saw on the internet was where he said he's the king of malice. You understand? He didn't. There was nothing like he. I don't think
the blogs that had come out to explain that she had cheated.
She had cheated. Okay, it was the blog, but not him. He wasn't the one that said so. So I was looking. Actually, there's no story. The honest bunch
it was on an interview where
he said all of that.
He says on a debate on X. He says he was warning men never to forgive cheating wives, claiming such forgiveness leads to repeated betrayal and disrespect. And so he was asked if he was single. He confirmed that he was. He said, I have had my share. I'm never getting committed ever again.
Okay,
but he didn't say that his own wife.
He didn't say so. So I didn't even see. Yeah, so when I now saw her own story, I was now wondering because he didn't go with the king of madness that, you know, so she came out and then she said a whole lot.
She was responding.
She said a whole lot. Even the things she wasn't supposed to say, she said everything. So as far as I'm concerned, we are becoming immature about this whole thing. So now she has put all of these things out. So everybody is out to clear their names. So all the other people that they've mentioned that he had something, they should all come out too and help us mention, because right now all of us online, we want to get into the full story. The gist is out now, so we want to know it fully, big time, because we can't just judge from what she has said too now. So he too is going to come out now to come and say
counter again,
counter. So you can imagine how this thing, we've decided to become immature about the whole thing. All of us.
The story is out. It's about infidelity in that marriage. The husband is accusing her, Sandra, of having cheated, and the name Chike is mentioned. And in her defense, she came out to say, "You're not the victim. Stop going about making it look like you're the victim." This is she accused him of not paying fees, of having to carry the children and the financial burden of their family,
school fees,
and then the fact that business, he was just there so that I could have access to her funds. She accused him of selling a property for less than what is worth and still spending it. She accused him of infidelity as well. She mentioned names. So these are two people in the
She tagged them.
She
tagged them. All
so that's the full gist you're looking for. That is the full gist. But our conversation today, you know, first of all, we start with this: the fact that the whole story is out there. What do you think of having these stories out there? And then when we go for the second round, we just discuss it generally, but specifically to this story.
I blame Frank for bringing the whole story out. I think that he should have tried to find closure some other way. But he's a media person and he knows how we chop every story except our own, you know. And he shouldn't have, but he has. He brought it out. And at this point, I can't blame, what's her name, the
Sandra,
estranged wife, for trying to put up her defense. Because her silence, Chike's continuous silence have not relieved him. Go on his TikTok and see the tags. As far as his emojis, music, everybody that does content has done content with it. If you Frank Edoho me, you malice me, I Chike you. It's been trending. You know, a lot of things. So their silence has not really been golden at this time. So I cannot now say that, you know, maybe her advisors think that it's for her to do that is the best. But I'm glad that, you know, this is a divorced relationship because I don't see how this will continue after all this nonsense embarrassment up online. Because yesterday while we were on the show, as much as we tried to make a case for him, for why that video you were relying on the malice is an old interview that was dug out because all of this is now out. And, you know, another old interview has been dug out on him admitting cheating does not, loving a woman does not prevent you from cheating on her. As a man, that is just a thing men do, they love you, it's two separate things. So they will dig up so many things. More and more will come up, and you know, I think that your value always reflects what you say. So at the time of the old interviews that are being dug up, this could have been his reality, the way he sees life, his perspective to things, you know? And when you put things like that and you put women in such places, there's a problem. I remember when the initial divorce happened, one of, you know...
You mean the first marriage?
Yes, the first one. Because they were a couple, they were a power couple in the media. Everybody looked to... All the time you open Tell magazines, you open all of those magazines, they were in all the pages. And when it happened, it looked so dirty and everything. He tried to allege A, she tried to allege B. Until they went silent, they couldn't have their businesses and career back. And it affected Catherine, for me, more than it affected Frank. Because Who Want to Be a Millionaire went on to be a millionaire show. But she had to, you know, pause and start and, you know, and take time. And I wonder how they co-parent. Because you see, mutual respect is the only way you co-parent. When you're doing this and you have kids together, that's why I said I blame him. They have kids together. If a woman is unfaithful, let's agree that, you know, just for benefit of making an argument, that she cheated, but she has kids for you that you do not think a DNA is necessary for. Because if you fear anything, you do a DNA. And if you don't think you will need one, how do you continue to be the father of the kids whose mother is being dragged online? I see men do it. I don't know. I see women do another kind of it where I'm no longer in good place with your dad. That your dad, the only burukun babe, TV language. But you know, women do all sorts of narratives. Men do go there and say, she left me for money. Come to the court, you see drama. Yeah, she left me because I no longer have money. There was a case I was doing divorce for, and the man was saying, it's because I no longer have money that she's leaving me. When I used to have money, she wanted to stay with me. I was like, yeah, this woman, I don't even understand why she's leaving. Like, how much do you give her a month? I just asked. I said, I give her 8,000 naira every month. 8,000. I just the waka they go. I don't look back on a straight line. I was like, are you joking? In the economic realities.
Yeah, exactly.
But the woman had been breadwinner, and she probably gave up at the point of almost 30 years when she did. But when he was giving a narrative, that narrative he gave in court had been given to his kids.
Oh no.
He called her all sorts of names. When she left the house and she got divorced and was moving another relationship, he told the kids their mother is prostituting. You know, so these narratives, all these narrative things, I think people should learn to see the end picture before they start.
And who are the actual sufferers of the fallout?
What's the gain? What are you standing to gain? Are you hurt and think hurting people will make you better? Or do you just think, no, I'm done with this bad situation, it's not me? Because Miriam had asked yesterday on the show and I said, Frank should not even be in another marriage. I feel that the interviews are showing his mentality And I think that he has to work on that to try with another person, so you don't hurt another person.
Yeah.
So with this, this story, there are lots of, you know, I feel that there are lots of angles and lots of things to be learned, and I would like us to take it one after the other. Now we'll talk about being. So I'll take it separate from Frank and Sandra right now, and just, you know, let's just speak generally. Some people have said, well, he was married the first time, and then you come into a marriage as the second. There's something that they say. They always quote it. Yes, they always quote it on this table. The cane that they use for the first wife is the same cane that they use for the second wife. Yes.
Keep it.
So I would like us to understand, is there a way to marry someone who's been married before? To come into a man's life that's been married before? What are the questions or conversations you need to have with that person, maybe to determine if the reason for the breakup the first time is not something that will repeat itself? Do you understand? I would like us to think that way. Is it a mistake? Is it always a mistake to marry someone who used to be married before? Because if it breaks, if something happens to the marriage again, they blame you for not paying attention.
Repeated patterns come and affect you.
Yes.
We blame you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who do you blame? You blame the
let me even tell you how it's not only the
wife.
No, the wife, the girl. When you go into a relationship with someone who's been divorced, or who is of a certain age, somebody well into his middle age, over 40s, not married, and you're going into a relationship with him, there are questions. Now, different examples.
For both genders, though, this thing you just said.
Yes, it works because men do it for women. Men talk down at women. Men tell women who are divorced to not bring their kids to their homes. So when you want to marry man who don't divorce, you say you go close eye, walk into, fall in love. Then they fall in love with such a person. You walk with your eyes and senses well alert before you enter them. Don't come out, don't enter there and tell us that the water is way cold. Don't enter water, finish, come and be calling for help. And what are your circle doing? Because sometimes you can be in love and stupid, but the people around you can't be. Now then go help you look at what's auntie ask. This is from experience. So my auntie wanted to marry someone she had been dating. My mom knows 2 of his ex-wives and a girlfriend. And they had a conversation. My mom says, no, you can't, please. Not this man. This man, these are his patterns. But she was already in love. She would not hear Jack. She did not do 2 years. She didn't do 2 years. She says it to me. She says, when I was about to get, she said, listen to your mom. If your mom is not happy with what you listen, I didn't listen to your mom and I ended up here. She said it to me directly. So I'm wondering how a young girl is dealing with such. And if the person is of a certain age, you know, if you old relationships, how many dates you date? Were you in a convent where you know see woman, or you can't exist with some people, when they wake up in the morning, they are daddy wa. Everybody on their knees, including the wife, when they want to greet them. And you know that they did not raise you. You are like Nima, you don't know how to kneel down. And you want to go and enter. You cannot come and be they asked me to kneel down, like the one that was taking yesterday. They asked me to cook for nights. You know, say na night food that they shop for their house before you enter. You have to keep everything alert. If you were making a mistake with a young person, it can be the excuse that you did not know each other. But to be excused for a middle. You know?
So for me, if you want to go into such kind of marriage, first thing I'm going to say is, for a woman, make sure that you are sure that the man has healed totally from the last marriage. Because once they leave their former marriage, it's not like they are totally okay. There are some things they will still have, they will still be exhibiting some kind of, and they will still be frustrated. So when you come, instead of them to make it better, they will hurt you. So make sure that you are sure that that person has healed from the last relationship and is doing what he's supposed to do.
How do you make sure someone has healed?
Yeah, so you will see the patterns. You see the patterns. You start. There are some behaviors that you start. You know, you know that from the way he talks to you, the way he handles issues and all of those things. And again, she saw, because she said that he didn't pay his children. He doesn't pay his children's school fees. You understand? So from there, you can tell that, okay, look at this guy. He has this pattern. He doesn't spend money. He doesn't do, take up his responsibilities and everything. Because from what she said she came and she did everything. She was the one paying all the bills. No, they have children together. They even have children together. So she said he doesn't pay school fees, and he doesn't even pay school fees for his kids from the other woman. So you can see that there is a pattern there. So these are things that you address. So you're not expecting to come and say you want to change. You can't change a man. You can't change a woman. You can't change people who are formed, especially at that age, because right now he's above 40. You can't come in and say, okay, I'm going to change certain patterns about him. You can't do that. So you are just going to go in and accept those things that he already has, and then slowly and see if you can stay and manage with that kind of person. If you cannot manage that, I don't think going into marriage is the thing to do at that point in time.
So I would say
sorry, Chika, before you jump in, we need to go on a short break. Okay. When we return, I really would like to understand this getting married a second time around and the kind of conversations you should have before you get into that. Chika, does how a man treats his previous wife, does that matter to you? Should that matter to someone who's trying to come into a relationship? How he treats the previous one who's left?
Of course it should matter, even though I've heard, and I kind of believe it, that sometimes people treat people differently. So somebody might have been married to a woman and may have held back on emotions, held back on finances. And he meets a girl who is a tough nut to crack, who is out there, who is what people would say, maybe a girl that just, you know, they suffer men where, a girl where they use iron hand, they treat men like rubbish. That same man, we no treat, that woman that was, you know, just acquiescing to him and doing everything that he wanted, he will treat the woman like crap. But you see this one that gave him tough time and is stressing him out, she will experience a different version of that man. So you see, sometimes people treat you the way you have set the bar for how you should be treated. They treat you based on the standards you have already set for yourself and how you carry yourself and the way you say your no and say it firmly. People learn how to treat you based on how you treat yourself. But there's something else I wanted to say about marrying someone a second time.
Okay, before you do that, let me take this call and then we'll come back to that. Toju is calling us from Abuja. Good morning, Toju.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Okay, I'll make my contribution very brief. I think it's very wrong for Frank to come to put his marriage in the media. I think it's very wrong for him. And again, I would like to say responsible men don't behave this way. If you have a problem in your marriage, I think it's best you and your wife come together, and if you want to be separated, you should be separated. That's where it is. I don't think you should come on here and start telling everybody that you are a champion, you are somebody who's a champion in marriage to another. I know Frank. I don't know him personally, but I know he's an intelligent man because the way he anchored Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, he did that for a very long time, for about a decade, and he did that well. But I don't think it's right for him to come on here now, come and start telling everybody, because the issue between him, Sandra, and Chike, whatever his name is so embarrassing. And it should set an example to people. You shouldn't come on here and come and start making it look like there's something's actually and that it's still responsible. It shouldn't behave that way. It shouldn't be in the media. It don't get supported. Let them get supported. So that's how I see it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toju, for your contribution. Chika,
yes. I was going to say that in the case of either a man or a woman marrying for a second time, it's not often the case that somebody is a divorcee or divorced and it's a red flag on them. There are good men out there regardless. Even me that I know I have become almost a pessimist in love, I know for a fact that there must be. I keep hope alive that there are still good men out there who may have gone into bad marriages. Not that they are without flaws of their own, but I'm saying they got into bad marriages, tried to salvage, tried to endure, tried to put up with excesses. But for some reason, in spite of their best efforts, the marriage didn't work out. And that man becomes somebody who is divorced. Does that then cast a cloud of negativity and doubt on his personality such that if a woman is going into a marriage with that kind of man now, she will say,
no, she go look well. No. She go look at brother to go well. Wait, hold on. Let me put this proper.
And she's going to do that. Let me take Lekki. Okay, Prince from Lekki. I said Lekki. Prince is calling us from Lekki.
People from my place.
Good morning, Prince.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Okay. So yesterday I spoke about the basic instinct of human to be good and to have good sides and bad sides. Today, I want to say, number one, we human beings have a way of mourning. Everybody has their own way of. So when people say, oh, Frank shouldn't have come to the social media, There are people that want their story on social media. If it is them that released it, fine. You don't tell somebody how to mourn. If the person takes strength or draws progress or draws power from putting his things out, not everybody can hear big things. I hate it when they say men shouldn't cry. If you want to cry, please, for God's sake, cry. If you want to grieve, if you want to moan, if you want to shout, do it. Any way that it works for you, your coping mechanism is yours and not anybody else's. That's number one. Number two,
very good.
Both parties have a way of settling their issues, and everybody should let them be that way. Marriage, it's only in Africa that we have, if you're married and divorced, you're a taboo. Larry King married 9 times. In fact, he actually married 8 women 9 times. So he married the wife number 3 2 times.
Again.
So Frank can fail and stand up and marry again and marry again and marry again. So also with the other person and also the other person. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution, friends. Yeah.
So I agree with him, but I hope he knows that the children will not might not, just as there are people different. That's why parents manage things differently. I know a few divorced men who have been silent about the bad sides of their wives for years. And the kids grew up to find it out. I have a close friend whose daughter found out from her dad how bad he treated her mom. And it was easier for him to forgive. If the mom had been yapping and spoiling her, maybe she would have, tilted more to her dad. Sometimes you really can't predict these things. But that's for the children. The two of them are 2 adults. They can be giving us content. That's their business. But for the divorced man, what you look out for is not that you cast every divorced man a bad man. You look for patterns.
Yeah.
Of course.
You have to know why a first man... In fact, you have to know why a first relationship no work for your boyfriend now.
Absolutely.
For your boyfriend, maybe the mother know they want town girl. Like me, they know they want Edo people. They will say will be Kobokobo. I will be Kobokobo anyways. No sense. A lot of you have to find out those things, and you want to know how prepared are you for those things. You don't go into a second chance marriage now. That's what I call it. Without knowing exactly how the person is. It's not a child that you say I didn't see it on time. You don't want to see.
Yes.
So
let me just have Ramsey because we're running out of time. So let's hear Ramoti.
Yeah. So I quite agree with what Nima just said, because it's true. You need to really find out about all of these things. So talking about comments, we have.
Are you done?
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
Sorry, you said comments. So, so we really need to find out about a divorced man and a divorced woman before you go into that kind of relationship. You need to sit down, discuss, talk about it deeply, because, of course, there are always patterns. There are certain things that you need to avoid. So that's just all I have to say.
Okay, let me take this call from Latifa. She's calling from Edo. Good morning, Latifa. Oh,
Let's see.
Okay. We lost Latifa. I just want to say, right, this particular story, I didn't want to take it because a little bit too close to home, but I wish this did not come out. Frank Edoho is well respected in the industry, and many people have memories of, how he's carried himself in the media, and it's really sad that this marriage has come to this point where they are trading accusations on social media. And as Nima mentioned, there are children involved. It's so sad. There are children from the first marriage who have come to love Sandra like their mom, and then there are children who these are siblings, and to have to see them come out this way is truly, truly sad. I wish they can find a way to mend fences in the privacy of their homes, because both of them individually are wonderful people, hardworking people. They truly loved each other at one point. They wanted the best for each other. Frank has told me how he supported his wife, over the years, to what she has become. Even she appreciates what he's done for her over the years. But to find them at this point is truly sad. And I hope that they're able to resolve issues, even if it means going your separate ways forever. But at least be civil and remember that there are children that you have brought into this world.
So Corey Michael says, even after you have entered fully, until the woman born first, before you go really know who you marry.
Yeah.
She's a good...
Just Reason says, every marriage is always about managing each other. That's why they say there's no perfect marriage. I totally swallow this comment.
Yes.
There's no perfect marriage,
as we are sitting
but
here.
They have complemented each other for many years.
No perfect humans. So there's something we call whispers in Islam. when you know, we're talking about, you know, the distancing, malice, and all of those things in marriage. There's no marriage that you would not have attempted this malice at one point. Make you come beg me, make I beg him. You know, only people that have gone through some therapy know that there's nobody needing to beg nobody in marriage. So you've attempted it, but when you allow whispers, when the third party, one person is saying A, one person is saying B, digging and, you know, into one of the parties in the marriage, you see wahala will happen. So how you grow above those whispers, they are the satanic whispers. Yes. One of the, in the Sunnahs of the Prophet ﷺ, they're saying that the devil's agents, the younger devils, the shayatins, the small ones, are like insects. They come back every day celebrating how many homes they've broken.
Wow. Okay, so I have this.
That's why you should be very careful, very prayerful, and fortify your home. And you know, you married a human being, just learn to forgive everything.
And when things are bad, let's discuss it at home.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people that love you and support you. Good. And then learn to put your ego aside. Think of forgiveness is important, not just towards the other person, for yourself as well. And you don't want to destroy everything completely, that a few years after, when you have calmed down, then you have destroyed so many things. Yeah. It's hard to even put anything back.
Okay, so there's another comment here from Corey Michael. He said, Frank bringing it out, it's his way of dealing with the grief. Yes, for somebody like that is, you know, is a popular person, I don't think bringing it out like this, look at how it has gone. Because you can't control what the other person is going to do. Look at now, everybody has started coming out. Look at how he's moving around, he's becoming so big. I don't think he expected it to be this way. So sometimes it's just better you handle your things privately as much as possible. Just gather, if you really need people to be part of it, just gather a few people that are very close to you, your close circle, sit down, discuss it there so that it will be there and to die there.
I hope it's not vindictiveness, because we might be justifying his coming out. I know this is not this. A man filed a divorce at my boss's firm, comes back the next day, picks up the affidavit and gives it to a soft sell magazine. The affidavit, he had accused the woman of several things. He says to us, I want to bring her down. The woman was brought down. They divorced. But they have to co-parent.
Yes. And now you have created an enemy.
That's why they say, a woman that has kids for you that you have divorced is still part of your life. That's the point.
Whether you like it or not, yes.
We have completely run out of time. Chike, do you want to help us go home? Say one or two things and we'll use that to go home.
I guess we've pretty much said it. I feel like I'm the wrongest. I'm not married. So
no, it has nothing to do with
I'm the wrongest. But I just know that one thing I have held on to tenaciously, and I feel like has been a great help. I feel like as human beings, but especially more as women, because I'm a woman, when you see the signs of certain things that are not right, do not negate it, don't make excuses for it. I'll give an example. There's a divorcee who somebody said was liking me. And I asked him, what led to the breakdown of your first marriage? And he said, because they were not compatible. You break a marriage because you're not compatible. That already to me is a red flag, and I said, no, I'm not doing it.
Thank you, Chike, and we can end with that. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, for viewers, for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow for another interesting show. Tomorrow is Saturday Pigeon.
Yes, we'll be
Bye
here.
for now.
Bye.